Hey everybody, this is Wolf Jeeper. This is my first YouTube video, so please bear with me. But I watched a lot of different people build these Pulk sleds, and I decided, well, it's snow season's coming up, so I'd build one for myself. I went out and I bought, a little $15 sled from Big Five. I got it home and it was so shallow, and I was like, what in the heck is the point of that? I could barely put anything on it. It's going to tip over, slide all over, and even if I did all the modifications, and I thought, why not have a tub, or a trunk, whichever you want to call it. So I went across the street to the hardware store, and I got one of those. And I figured, okay, what are the few things that everybody seems to want? Well, I knew I wanted aluminum runners to keep this thing from sliding off the trail, and some kind of rigid pole system. I'm going to try to set the camera down here. There we go. So that's what I did, and I learned a few things on this. It's me, Wolf Jeeper. First lesson I learned after building this thing, I took it out on the trail this weekend. I went to Dewey Point in Yosemite. These runners are too long. I'm going to shorten them probably about to there, because what was happening is, as I would go around a curve on the trail, it would feel like a snowplow. It would just be that much harder to pull. Okay. Now after I got the trunk, I put those runners on. I bent this bar up here. It's just a normal electrical conduit. I spray painted black, and I thought I was good to go. And then right at the last minute, about an hour before I left on my trip, I thought, wow, this is going to be like a snowplow. So I had a piece of bed liner laying out on the side of the house I've been wanting to cut up. My wife's been wanting me to cut up and get rid of. And so this was a perfect opportunity to do that. So I cut right on the edge where it goes up 90 degrees. I just kind of leveled it out a little bit more. Made it more of a easy transition for the snow, so that I wasn't just building up a whole bunch of snow as I pulled. And this worked out really well. Like I said, the only big thing was this right here. They're way too long. So if you decide to build your own, I definitely recommend shorter. And then I thought, since I'm going to be attaching it to the sled itself, I put eye hooks on this side. I actually put eye hooks on both sides, and then I decided, well, just to give me more capability, I was going to put bungee on top. And you don't want to untie and string it through when you're out in the field, so I went out and I got some hooks instead of just the eye holes. That way I can unhook this thing, and I have the ability to strap stuff on top. Now, I'm not quite sure who I saw that did something similar to this, but I really liked it because I wanted something rigid. Now this is just standard electrical, plastic conduit, and I've got eye hooks and 3/8 rod, 3/8 all thread running through there with a giant nut for attachment here on each corner. And I set up the length and I cut it, and I just kind of had to heat it up a little bit to get it to slide in on this end so that I could attach the others. And it worked out great, except for the fact that I think it was too long. So I'm going to shorten this a couple feet so that it's probably about that long, which would be probably about 5 feet long is what I would ideally like to go to. And I had an old Osprey waistband laying around, so I took the tabs and I put these little eye holes into them, and I got a little carabiner. I wanted to get one that had the locking there, that way in case it was stressed it would be okay, and so that it wouldn't be bouncing up and down along my side. I also took a piece of 1-inch webbing, and I put one in there, and I was going to put one on the other side, but then I realized there was no adjustability, so I put a buckle in so that I could make it smaller or larger to give me more or less adjustment. And this is kind of nice. It just clips on, so when I'm on the trail I can just clip it on. and it worked out really good for me. The other thing I decided to experiment on while I was there, grab the camera. The other thing I decided to experiment with on this weekend while I was going up there, you might notice some kind of slight melting marks in the top here. Well, I was out in the snow and I decided that I thought this top one taken off would make a great spot for me to use my stoves. So there's some little round impressions and an impression very similar to my caldera cone I decided to try out. And bad idea. Definitely find something a little more stable. Piece of wood, something. Anyway, I got this idea from a wall hiker. And I've been kind of working on it. I've still got some bugs to work out. He's got a lot more experience than me, so check out his channel for more information. I decided to use a Tabasco tin because it was thin and round, and it's really mainly what I just hold everything in. And the stove itself, I'm using a Burt's Bees Balm something or other. Got it Target in the, whatever section. And so I put a wick inside there, a fiberglass wick, and I use my little needle. Like I said, for more information, check out his channel. He's got some more goodies. And I normally carry alcohol for my alcohol stoves in these. And so what I did was I went out and I found myself a little squeeze bottle tip that goes on them. That way I can hook it in there, and I can squeeze alcohol from a remote location, remote reservoir, into there to continue to feed it. Because the other stove that I have, the other alcohol stove, is a blue mini torch. And it's fantastic. It does a great job, but you have to let it cool down once it burns out before you can put more fuel in it and light it again. And that's just impractical if you want to burn something for a longer period of time. So I really like this idea. The other thing that I had going here is, if, don't mind me, like I said, this is my first video here. If I needed a little more stability, I can actually use the tin to hold it on so that I'm distributing the heat instead of melting into the snow, which, like I said, plastic, bad idea. Anyway, I also have this little chicken wire thing, whatever you want to call it. I just grabbed some of the material at the hardware store. And so I can squeeze fluid in there, light that bad boy, and then with my Heineken concoction, we're good to go. That thing will burn and burn and burn. So those were the ideas I had from some helpful guys that I thought I'd take up there and try with me in my snowshoeing trip. And I'll put some more videos on. I'll give this thing a whirl. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave comments and ask, and I will try to do my best. And have a great day. Aloha. This is Wolf Jeeper, pretending like he's back home in Hawaii. Take care now.